Welcome back to Bad Things in History, where we aren't using artificial intelligence to make our content. The past is full of stories about people who met their end suddenly and under tragic circumstances, but sometimes the randomness of human reproduction creates a person that can't be killed so easily. Today we are going to tell you the story of an indestructible British soldier. A Taste of War. Adrian Carton de Wiart was born in Brussels on May 5, 1880. He was the eldest son in an aristocratic family, and according to various rumors, Adrian's real father may have been King Leopold II. In 1886, when he was 6 years old, Adrian's mother and father divorced. He went with his father, who decided to move to Cairo and practice law. Adrian learned to speak Arabic and became very fond of Egyptian culture. In 1891, when he was 11 years old, Adrian's stepmother sent him back to England to attend a boarding school. When he graduated, he briefly attended a nearby university. However, in 1899, England went to war. Adrian left school and joined the British military. He was only 20 years old, but he was eager to fight. The new conflict emerged in South Africa and was known as the Second Boer War. The First War had ended 20 years earlier, but rather than enable peace to continue, the 2 decades created more reasons to fight. By the late 19th century, most of South Africa was under the control of the British Empire. Dutch immigrants were also in the region, and they occupied several areas known as the Boer Republics. Gold was discovered in these Dutch territories. British settlers began pouring into them, hoping to profit from the precious metal. The British settlers who moved into the Boer Republics began having confrontations with people who already lived there. War seemed like a perfect solution when the British government became aware of the problem. Adrian was among the first wave of soldiers sent to fight in the war, but instead of achieving victory, he would nearly be killed. He rushed the enemy during an engagement and was shot in the stomach and groin. The injuries were serious. Adrian was sent back to England to recover. A year later, he returned to South Africa. He continued killing enemies until the war ended in 1902. After the conflict ended, Adrian spent several years living a peaceful life, but the next war was coming and he would be ready. The Gentleman Soldier. After being wounded, Adrian required several months to recover. The experience convinced him never to let himself become helpless again. Another outcome of his brush with death was that Adrian became a strong believer in physical fitness. He liked to run most days. He also played sports such as polo. And when that wasn't enough, Adrian sometimes enjoyed hunting dangerous animals. He would kill wild boars when he felt the urge to go kill something. The activity was more commonly known as pig-sticking. In 1902, Adrian was transferred to India. Then in 1904, he was sent back to South Africa. He also received a promotion to the rank of lieutenant. His reputation and status in British society increased significantly. In 1908, he married Countess Maria Caroline. She was from a wealthy family of German bankers. Thanks to this union, Adrian didn't have to worry about money, but he enjoyed the military and had no plans to leave. In 1914, the First World War began. Adrian was looking forward to seeing action in Europe. But instead of going to the Western Front, he was sent to British Somaliland. It was a British territory within modern-day Somalia, and it was being attacked by a man the British called the Mad Mullah. In 1915, Adrian was assigned to the Somaliland Camel Corps. The unit attacked an enemy fort and encountered heavy resistance. Adrian found himself on the receiving end of enemy bullets yet again. He was shot twice in the face. It cost him his left eye and part of his ear. In February 1915, a wounded Adrian was put on a steamship that was headed for France, and he was happy because it meant he would finally fight the Germans. Path to Glory. During World War I, many soldiers on the Western Front were traumatized by the experience, but for Adrian, the war was exhilarating. In May 1915, he was near a German artillery shell when it exploded during the Second Battle of Ypres. His left hand was pulverized. Adrian found a doctor and asked him to amputate the fingers on his damaged hand. The doctor refused, so Adrian reached over with his right hand and ripped the damaged fingers off his injured left hand. Later that year, the remainder of his left hand would have to be amputated. Adrian was at the Battle of Sens in 1916. He was injured twice during the battle. He was shot in the skull and also took a round to the ankle. The danger was clearly not a deterrent for Adrian. He was also at the Battle of Passchendaele in 1917. This time he took a bullet through the hip. Later that year, he took part in the Battle of Cambrai too. That time he was shot in the leg. After surviving all that, just weeks before the war ended, Adrian took another round through the ear. World War I finally ended on November 11, 1918. When Adrian wrote of how he felt about it, he said, "Frankly, I enjoyed the war." The war might have been over, but Adrian wasn't through fighting. Poland had recently achieved independence. Adrian was told to go there as part of the British military mission. The First World War was finished, but the Polish-Soviet War was just getting started. Adrian was sympathetic to the Polish cause and did his part to help them. However, despite his efforts, the Red Army was able to push into Poland. In August 1920, he was standing on a train watching Soviet troops as they entered Warsaw. A group of cavalry decided to attack Adrian. He fought them off with a revolver. On December 19, 1923, he decided to finally retire from the military with the rank of Major General. He thought he was done fighting, but war would find Adrian yet again. The Final War. During his time in Poland, Adrian befriended a prince. The prince allowed Adrian to use an estate in eastern Poland, larger than the country of Ireland. Adrian enjoyed his time there immensely. He later wrote of the experience, "In my 15 years in the marshes, I did not waste one day without hunting." His time as a civilian came to an end in 1939. He was reactivated and became the British military liaison to Poland. But Adrian wouldn't enjoy the assignment for very long. On September 17th, Germany invaded Poland. Adrian and the rest of the British government officials tried to make their way to the Romanian border. Their cars were attacked by German airplanes and one woman was killed. The convoy still succeeded in crossing the border. Adrian was then almost arrested in Romania but acquired a false passport and left the country before he could be captured. In April 1940, he was given a new mission. Adrian was sent to Norway and given command of a division. He was ordered to take the city of Trondheim. Despite numerous failed attempts, Adrian and his troops succeeded in reaching the objective. Unfortunately, they were surrounded by Germans. The Allied troops were attacked from the air with artillery and soldiers with guns skiing down mountains. Adrian survived, although many of his men died. In May, he was reassigned to Ireland. Adrian also turned 60 years old. His commanding officer told him he would never lead troops in battle again because he was too old. But Adrian's participation in World War II wasn't over yet. In April 1941, he was ordered to travel to Serbia. As his airplane left Cairo, the engines failed. The plane crash-landed in the ocean. As the aircraft hit the water, Adrian was knocked unconscious, but the cold water brought him back to awareness. He swam to shore and avoided drowning. However, he found himself in Libya, which was controlled by Italian forces. They took Adrian into custody and made him a prisoner of war. The end of conflict. Adrian spent the next 2 years in Italy as a prisoner, but he didn't accept his fate willingly. He made 5 escape attempts. One of his efforts to escape captivity involved digging a tunnel for 7 months. He was able to use it to escape the prison, but after wandering the Italian countryside for 8 days, Adrian was caught. He didn't speak Italian, and his appearance was very distinctive. In August 1943, Adrian was taken from prison and driven to Rome. The Italian government wanted to surrender and hoped that Adrian would deliver a message for them. After returning to England and relaying the message, Adrian was sent to China. Winston Churchill wanted him to report on what he saw happening in Asia. He spent the next 2 years observing events and reporting back home, but in August 1945, the Japanese surrendered and the war was over. In October 1947, Adrian retired from the military for the last time. He was 66 years old and left the service with the rank of lieutenant general. On the way back home, he made a stop in what is today Myanmar. While walking down some stairs, Adrian fell. He broke several bones in his back and was knocked unconscious, but after a short stay in the hospital, he was fully recovered. In 1949, Adrian's wife passed away, but he didn't remain lonely for long. In 1951, when he was 71, Adrian married a woman 23 years younger than him. The couple moved to a home in County Cork, Ireland. After spending most of his life in wars, Adrian adapted to a peaceful life in retirement. He eventually published memoirs about his experiences. He gave the following opinion about war. Governments may think and say as they like, but force cannot be eliminated, and it is the only real and unanswerable power. We are told that the pen is mightier than the sword, but I know which of these weapons I would choose. Adrian Carton de Wiart passed away on June 5, 1963. He was 83 years old and died from natural causes. What do you think about Adrian? Did he survive several wars because he was lucky, or was he just too hard to kill? Is it possible that he might have been slightly insane? Tell us what you think about this British soldier in the comments below, and if you want to see more stories in the future, be sure to like this episode. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Our motivation to keep doing this comes from viewers like you. Thank you for watching Bad Things in History.